What's up everybody, I'm Greenskull and I have a ton of Halo 4 information to talk about. Now a lot of this is going to be relatively old news, but I'm getting so many messages of everybody asking me to talk about this stuff because they want to hear my opinions. So here it is, got a lot to cover, let's do this. I was a little upset because I had a lot of theories about Halo 4 that I was going to make a video about, but I just ran out of time, and sure enough, a few days later, Game Informer comes out and proves all of that true. So it would have been cool to have those videos out to show you, yeah, look, my theories are all brilliant, but too late now. Those theories were about the UNSC Infinity and it playing a big part in Halo 4. And sure enough, it does. In Halo 4 multiplayer, you'll be playing on the UNSC Infinity. The UNSC Infinity is host to Spartan 4s who are training on there. So all of your multiplayer games are all a virtual reality training session, Spartan versus Spartan. So that's the story behind multiplayer. Makes a lot of sense, and a lot of us saw it coming. What's cool about the fact that it's virtual reality is the fact that 343 doesn't need to justify anything. It's all virtual reality. You don't have to have reasons for the locations that they show. There could literally be a cyber level that's like Ultron style. I think that would be so cool. Very virtual reality where everything is virtual. Maybe that could be the base of like the next Forge World type arena. The new currency in Halo 4 is Spartan points. Spartan points are replacing credits from Halo Reach. Now I'm guessing they'll be the same as credits in the sense that you'll earn a lot per every match you play or campaign mission, etc. Spartan points are used to buy armor, armor abilities, and Spartan Ops missions. Spartan Ops missions are missions that'll span over several months. Think of these like Spec Ops missions from Modern Warfare, except more comparable in size and scope to single player missions, because they're all gonna have story. Now let me stop for a second to talk about the Call of Duty reference. In my analysis video, I made a reference to Call of Duty, and people freaked out. I got hundreds of comments of people saying, don't compare Halo to Call of Duty. Honestly? Really? Look, I'm not a Call of Duty fan myself, but I respect it for what it is. What is it? It is the most popular Xbox 360 game right now. It has sold stupid amounts of games. People are in love with this. There are huge Call of Duty fans all over the world. How the video game industry works, and how it has always worked, is when someone makes a new game, they often borrow ideas from games that were successful before it. Halo borrowed stuff from Doom, from Quake, from the oldest of games. Everybody copies everybody. Once Halo perfected the shield system, and even vehicular combat in Halo has been emulated by so many other games. Creativity itself is simply taking other ideas and making them your own. It's so incredibly ignorant for people to say, don't compare this game to Call of Duty. Just because you don't like Call of Duty doesn't mean we can't make a comparison to it. Next time you're about to leave a comment like that, think about what you're saying, because you obviously have no idea what you're talking about. That's the end of my rant. I'm gonna go back into this. Don't get mad anymore when people compare things to Call of Duty, because Call of Duty does a lot of things right. In Halo 4, sprint is always available. Look, I'm gonna make another comparison to Call of Duty here. Call of Duty, you can sprint whenever you want. It's gonna be the same in Halo. And that makes a lot of sense. Sprint has never really been like a power thing. It's always just been about getting from point A to point B. And when you're sprinting, you're lowering your weapon. If you ever try to play SWAT and sprint around corners, as soon as you do, you get popped in the head because you can't raise your gun fast enough. It just makes the game faster. Now because you always have sprint, you'll always have two armor abilities. You'll have sprint and your choice of a second one. They've confirmed that Hologram, Active Camel, and Jetpack are returning. Those three armor abilities are probably the most fair of the bunch from Halo Reach. Have you ever really been that fooled by Hologram? Sure, when you first played, and you know, I still get fooled every now and then, but it's never been an issue. Like, have you ever gone into the post-game lobby and had people going, oh no, you guys were using hologram too much. You hologram whores? No, it's a completely fair ability. It makes a lot of sense. There's nothing wrong with it. Active camo, some people complain about this, but there's a lot of things that balance it out. Assuming it's gonna play the same as Reach, where when you use it, it'll be the radar jammer. When that happens, everybody knows you're around. You know to look for an invisible guy. Not to mention when you're invisible and you shoot, you become visible again. It's a relatively fair ability. Sure, maybe if the entire team is invisible, it gets a little bit annoying, but it's never been that much of an issue. Now, Jetpack can be compared to Sprint in the sense that it's pretty much only a defensive movement ability. It's all about getting from point A to point B. What's cool about Jetpack is that it adds such a verticality to maps. Look at Sword Base. Sword Base, it sucks to get to the top of it if you don't have a jetpack. But if you have a jetpack, you just whoop, you're right up there. So simple, makes the game a lot faster and more fun. And once you're in the air, you're the target. You can't use it as an offensive ability. Try playing Ascension on Halo Reach and go up with a jetpack. You have a giant red target painted on you. Everyone's gonna be gunning you down. So Jetpack, I'm excited to see return. And Jetpack, before we move on to the next point, I just gotta say, just quickly, gotta get it off my chest. I told you so. Armor Lock is not gonna be returning, which I'm sure we all saw coming. Armor Lock was one of the worst ideas to ever come to Halo in general. I had no doubt it wasn't going to be returning in Halo 4. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of feedback about these points, but before you take a comment, step out of your bubble, look at the franchise as a whole, look at the game as a whole, compare it to other games. Think about it. It all makes sense. If you're so quick to judge, to say this won't work, if you haven't even played it yet, you don't know what you're talking about. Don't think of it as, oh, I'm really good with this ability and they're changing it, so I'm really mad at them, or everybody uses this ability against me and I can't use it, so it's a horrible ability. You gotta think of it as a whole. Think of all the players, the casual, the competitive. Honestly, that's a problem I'm finding with a lot of people these days, is they're only thinking about themselves. You gotta think about it all. Forerunner Vision's a new ability. That's kind of like X-ray vision. You can see through walls. Other Spartans will appear as like heat signatures. This really caught me off guard. It was very strange to hear at first, but the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. Halo has never been about sitting around and camping. It's always been about running into the action and getting into battles. Forerunner Vision will allow you to do that. Maybe some guy's camping somewhere, click that baby on, you can find out where he is. And I don't think we'll be able to use the ability for very long anyway, maybe like 10 seconds to quickly look around and then it'll run out. Much like all the other points here, guys, don't judge it until you try it. I stated in my armor customization video that we didn't need to play as elites anymore. And sure enough, we're not going to be able to play as elites in Halo 4. It makes sense story-wise since it's all about Spartans fighting, and it's just more fair that way. Let's keep everybody on equal ground, have the exact same character models fighting each other. We're going back to the roots here. This is what Halo should be. Don't get me wrong, I love playing elites and stuff, it's fun, but we don't really need them. Spartan Ops is going to be the replacement for Firefight. That means Firefight is going away. Now, people complain about this, you know, I like Firefight, but not many people really loved it. Firefight was at its best when you played on Lost Platoon on Halo 3 ODST. That was a lot of fun, but since then, it kind of went downhill. Halo Reach Firefight is mainly used for, like, credit grinding. We can live without it. We don't really need it that much, and I'm sure Spartan Ops would be a nice replacement for it, because who knows? There might be Firefight-like missions. Regicide is a new game type appearing in Halo 4. It's a variation of free-for-all, where there's a king, and every person that king kills raises his bounty. Whoever kills the king gets all the bounty. Sounds a lot like VIP to me, and I'm excited for it. It sounds like a lot of fun. You can now earn medals for being a distraction. This medal makes sense to me. A lot of people are saying people don't deserve this medal, but for people like me, who I'm often playing with my friends, there's some games where I'm only getting assists and only helping my teammates out. You'll be able to literally run past a guy, get him distracted, have someone else kill him. I'm guessing the way it'll register is if a guy dies while looking at you. Power weapons will now drop at random times during the match. A lot of competitive players are really mad about this, but why? Again, I go back to my point of, is this benefiting you or is this benefiting the community as a whole? The only people who ever benefited from timed weapon spawns were people who kept track of them, the hardcore competitive players. I can honestly say that not once have I ever gone, oh, about 3 seconds, this weapon's about to spawn, I better go get it. It just promotes weapon whoring. If you don't know when it's coming, you're forced to make a journey just to see if it is there or not. That is how it should be. And I know I'm in the minority here, but it makes a lot of sense. I know what I'm talking about here. This is making the game a lot more level playing field. I don't want to be owned by people who are memorizing the times. That is a factor I shouldn't have to do. I'm sure there will be time spawns on like MLG or whoever wants to play with those, so you can do it that way if you want. It won't always be random, I'm sure. You can now press X to respawn. Say, what? Like all these other points, people have been freaking out over this one. Halo will be too fast then, it'll be too crazy. How are you gonna play capture the flag and stuff? I'm guessing this will only be for certain game types like Regicide, for instance, or Juggernaut. Juggernaut would work perfectly with instant spawns. Don't you hate waiting like 3 to 5 seconds after you die in Juggernaut? It's all about rushing towards this guy anyway. There's no reason to have a death timer. Now, things like capture the flag, for instance, need a death timer. Otherwise, you would never capture the flag because people would keep spawning and killing you. So this press X to respawn thing will only appear in certain game types, I'm sure. Players will now be able to join games in progress. Now, I'm guessing this will only be for social games because in ranked games, that'll kind of suck. I'm just hoping they find a way to make it work. Every time I join a game, I don't want to be joining some game that's already half over and I'm on the horribly losing team. But I'm sure it'll make sense once we get a chance to try it. All right, now check out this piece of concept art. Are those plants? Or is that flood? I'm really not sure about that, but I don't even know if I want it or don't want it to be flood. I'm pretty done with the flood. I don't want to see him again, but you never really know. Jeff Steitzer is confirmed for Halo 4. We get to hear his awesome chilling frenzy and all his other great lines all over again. It wouldn't be Halo without his voice, so I'm so glad he's returning. Neil Davidge is confirmed as the composer for Halo 4, and I'm loving the sounds of his music so far. If you want to check it out, links are in the description. There's 2 videos that Halo Waypoint put out. One's called Composing Worlds, and won some sample audio clips from him. Now, he recently did a live chat Facebook interview, and someone asked him, is there going to be dubstep in Halo 4? He replied he's going to be using some of the techniques from dubstep, so electronic techniques, but no wub-wub. All I'm going to say to that is good. That's my opinions on a lot of this stuff. Again, before you leave a comment, please have an open mind, think about everything as a whole. I assure you guys, 343 knows what they are doing. They have some of the best minds in the industry working on this game, and it's going to be good. That's it for this video. Like it, favorite, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think, guys. There's a lot of information here. Boom.